Guys, what's going on? It's your boy DannyMac here with another video, and today we actually want to talk about the team that I brought to Portland Regional Championships in Pokemon. Just want to do a quick breakdown, let you guys know what I was using. This team wasn't necessarily that great, and I'll be honest with you, I really underprepared for this tournament. Because I didn't know that I was going to go up until the very last minute. Like, I knew I had probably announced here and there that I was going, but you know, money situations got tied, and then I didn't know where my schedule was going to work out, so I wasn't really sure that I was going to compete. I was thinking, okay, if anything, I'm just going to go scope it out, go check out how things are, check out some games, etc. You know, but at the last minute I decided to compete, and I'm not really trying to make excuses, guys. I didn't really do great, I'll be honest with you guys, but I made this team about 3 a.m. when I was supposed to leave the place, you know, I have to leave home around 5 a.m. to get there to the regional tournament in time, since it was a couple hours away. So I was driving, obviously. So yeah, I didn't really have a lot of time to make this team. I tried to make it a little anti-meta. As you guys will see, it has some interesting choice of mods here that you don't really usually see in this format, namely the Aegislash and whatnot. But I figured I'd still give you guys a rundown, let you know what my thought process were using these mods. And you know, overall it's a fun team. I did have a lot of fun playing with it. It's just you know, I didn't prepare as much with it as I would like to, so the first couple of matches I honestly got blown back. But then I got into my rhythm, I got some wins, and there was some matches that I had that I should have won, but I got hacked in pretty badly. Since the games are 2 out of 3, I got hacks all 2 or 3 games, you know what I'm saying? It was ridiculous, but either way, let's jump into the first Pokemon, which obviously Taco here, the Incinerator. It's the only one that I actually nicknamed that I brought to the tournament, just because I've had this Incinerator for a while. I just ended up changing its spreads a little bit. But it's basically, you know, just to, you know, give you a quick rundown, it's holding the Figgy Berry, as most of these Incinerators are. They're either Assault Vest or Figgy Berry nowadays. The Intimidate ability is honestly something that you need in every team. So Incinerators were just running rampant everywhere. There wasn't a team I battled that, well, maybe except with the exception of one really anti-meta team that I fought that didn't have Incineroar. But pretty cool stuff as far as the move pool go. I mean, you got your standard. These 3 are pretty standard, which is knockoff Flare, but it's fake out. A lot of Incineroars end up running stuff like U-turn to get out of there. I chose to ran Earthquake just because I had a special tech on this team, namely with Aegislash on its air balloon, so I could switch it in on Groudons, and this would be able to Earthquake at the same time. So this actually did come in handy a couple times when I believe was my last mod Incineroar. It was versus a Groudon and another Incineroar on the opposite side of the field. Earthquake was able to do pretty heavy damage to both of them and then end up winning me the game, so it was pretty good to have that. So I'm pretty happy that I had that little tech. As far as EV spreads goes, I mean, I'm showing them. I'm not really going to try to blur them out for you guys because this isn't really a team that I expect a lot of people to be stealing or even really be interested in. So, but if you want to use the team, I'll still leave a link in the description down below for you to check it out if you guys want to try it out on Showdown or just try it out in some fun matches. So, either way, the next member of the team we have is Tapu Koko. Now, as you see here, I ended up making a more bulkier Tapu Koko with almost max HP, physical, just because of Wild Charge, just because I didn't think people would expect, you know, more of a physical Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is always running like Thunder with Kyogre, stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to, you know, jar expectations a little bit. But it's max speed, almost max bulk and HP, just because I really wanted to use them to use these dual screens. Now the point of these dual screens were to help the rest of the team survive a little bit more. You know, Kyogre take another hits from other Kyogre, Groudon. Same with Xerneas, so Xerneas could set up Aegislash so it survived a lot longer. Manda Buzz obviously with Tailwind support, which you'll see in a bit. But Tapu Koko was actually one of the MVPs of this tournament. I mean, it still would die to a lot of stuff, like a Scarf Kyogre. Without screens, it would die instantly. Scarf Kyogre's Water Spout or Origin Pools and stuff like that. But with screens, it was able to survive that and Precipice Blades from Groudon, which were rampant everywhere in the tournament. Everybody was running those two, if not both of them. So it was actually pretty interesting to see him survive a Precipice Blades even when it was a single target. So the bulk really helped. Electro Web was another one, his only real special attack that I had. And Electro Web helped a lot as it was able to let me, you know, slow down opposing Incineroar. So my Incineroar would be faster upon coming in upon, wow, I don't know why I said that, was weird. So it would help with Incineroar coming in, would help against, you know, other Scarf Kyogre, making sure my Kyogre was faster, you know, than even if they were both Scarf, we weren't risking a speed tie, would make it so my Kyogre could actually you know, beat other Scarf Kyogre and things of that nature. So Electro Web was a really big help. It really put in a lot of pressure. And Wild Charge was there for me to hit other Kyogres, you know, other Tapu Kokos, things of that, because they weren't really running a lot of defense. So Wild Charge I figured was the better option to do, even though at the cost of some kind of HP in me. But that was Tapu Koko, but like, he was really a good, important member of the team, and I'm really glad I brought him around. Next up, we have Manda Buzz. Now, Manda Buzz's role here was pretty much just to survive, set up Tailwind, you know, Toxic something, Foul Play Groudons, and just overall survive with Roost. It had Overcoat, which meant it was my switch-in on stuff like Amoonguss. I did run into a couple of those, Amoonguss, Venusaur, that like spamming Sleep Powder, so this was my definite switching into them. I did originally have Knockoff over Toxic, however, I felt with Incinerator already having Knockoff, I could spare the slot and give it Toxic instead, just to whittle down stuff like Xerneas when it tries to set up, things of that nature, because it's always coming in turn 1, Geomancy, and with the Power Herb, it's always, I mean, that's what they do, right? So it's, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, this Mon did what it had to do in certain matches. I didn't bring it a lot of the time, and sometimes I actually regretted it. I'm not gonna lie. I regretted sometimes bringing this Manda Buzz. I wish I would have brought something with a little more offensive presence, I think. But in other games, it actually did its job. It survived. It Toxic stuff. It set up Tailwind multiple times during the game. And, you know, overall, it was fine. But these things end up being sometimes dead weight if your opponent ends up choosing to ignore them, which is where you use to, that's why I ended up using Toxic and Foul Play, so in order to have something to damage the opponents with pretty consistently with, so it's not bad. So either way, next thing we got on the team is Aegislash. Now this is the one that I was most excited to use, and just like Tapu Koko, this is probably one of the biggest MVPs on the team. Not a lot of people had answers for him outside of Precipice Blaze, Kyogre, I mean Groudon, sorry. It's a little late, guys, but anyway, it was actually really fun to use. I gave him an Air Balloon for obvious reasons, you know, switching on the Precipice Blades, or, you know, if I could switch him in on an Earthquake from Incineroar after he intimidated stuff, like, it was actually a pretty good tech to use, so I didn't always have to, you know, switch in Manda Buzz, who was the only other flying type, ground immunity on the team, so I could switch in Aegislash, have another temporary ground immunity, and it worked out a couple times. I got to use those techs. It's actually pretty fun. But as you guys can see, we went especially defensive, and with a special moveset, we went with Shadow Ball, you know, because Shadow Ball is a strong stab, and Shadow Ball and Flash Cannon both have options to actually lower the SPDEF, which was actually happened a couple times in a couple matches. It actually really helped me up the pressure with this guy, and playing mind games with King Shield, and then you know, winning me a match or two, which is actually pretty fun because I would go with King Shield and then Protect with Xerneas, and then the combo of those two, they were both 2 threats on the field. People always want to get rid of them as quickly as possible. So switching between King Shield on Aegislash and Xerneas on Protect, I even had my opponent tell me, it's like, I was really expecting you to use King Shield there, I was really expecting you to Protect with Xerneas there, but sometimes I just went full on offensive pressure, and it worked out for me. Now, like I said, Flash Cannon is really good because it hits opposing Xerneas, and, you know, it hits things harder. Shadow Ball hits almost everything neutrally, except for normal types, obviously, which it does pretty much, you know, it's immune to, obviously, as you guys may know. But Flash Cannon was good just because, like I said, it hit other fairy types, like hitting the Tapus. I didn't manage to run into Tapu Bulu. This thing hit Tapu Bulu really hard, you know, and solid defenses overall, so it could survive quite a bit, especially behind Tapu Koko's screens. This thing would just stick around forever. Now the last move right here is Wide Guard. Now this was good against stuff like Precipice Blades, Tapu Fini's Muddy Water, Dazzling Moving from Xerneas, things of that overall nature, which is pretty cool, I guess. But I did originally want to change it to Gyro Ball, and some part of me wishes that I did. However, right before the tournament, I was like scrambling, and I was, you know, thinking I'm going to change this to Gyro Ball. But by the time we got to sign-ups, got to do the team sheets, I really didn't have time to change it to Gyro Ball, so I kind of just left it at Wide Guard. I don't even know if it's any kind of way that he can learn Gyro Ball. I honestly don't remember at this point. I don't know if it's a move to the move or start just a relearn. But anyways, I wanted to teach him Gyro Ball just so I think they would hit Xerneas and stuff harder, and I probably should have, but Wide Guard did end up having its choice moments for me, where it actually helped me out against Water Spouts, especially from Kyogre. It helped me out with, like I said, Muddy Waters from Tapu Fini. Helped me out against Precipice Blades quite a bit. Let me get a turn advantage when they didn't expect that. And, you know, the only thing is that I ended up realizing early on in my first match that you can go from King Shield to Wide Guard, or Wide Guard to King Shield, because then it counts as a double protect, which I wasn't aware of. So just because I haven't really used this mod in a competitive setting in a long time. As you guys may know, I play more Showdown, more singles than I do VGC lately, although I do want to change that. This tournament kind of inspired me to play a lot more the VGC style and really respect it. So yeah, that's pretty much Aegislash in a nutshell. Really fun Pokemon to have in this team, so I was actually pretty glad that I brought it. So anyways, next up we have our Choice Scarf Kyogre. Now these guys are everywhere in VGC, guys are everywhere. I did give it a slightly less amount of speed just because, like I said, I was counting on Tapu Koko's Electro Web to slow down opposing Kyogre anyways, to make a -1 speed under Scarf anyways. So I didn't feel like max speed was necessary. I ended up putting that to extra bulk, which actually did help me survive a couple of hits that I probably should have. But standard dot Kyogre, you know, Scald, Water Spout, Ice Beam, Thunder. I could have got Origin Pulse, but this just seemed like a better moveset as Ice Beam to hit flying types and Groudon outside of water, outside of rain, Thunder to abuse it. Scald as single target is pretty good, but Water Spout obviously for the max power, you know. So we ran pretty offensive Kyogre, but I did a pretty good job. Last but not least, we did have our shiny Xerneas that I ended up catching in Ultra Sun. So I made this a very unique set, I want to say. I don't want to say unique because probably someone else thought of it, but I did make it super bulky with its HP and made a lot of defense just so it could actually take hits from Groudon. And I actually got a couple of, especially under screens, it would take him hits like a champ. So I would get a couple of looks like, wow, like when Xerneas would survive those hits, and then I'd have a talk with my opponent after the match and be like, oh, it's because it's bold and defensive. They're like, that's how you guys did it. So that's kind of what I intended it to do. Survive hits from Groudon, survive hits from Kyogre under screens. Because without a screen, unfortunately, Kyogre would probably just blow it back, right? Because I don't have any def investment in this. Probably should have added some def investment, but I did want to add 20 speed for the speed creep on certain mons. I want to really try to go too in depth on who, but obviously Power Herb to get his Geomancy off turn 1, Moonblast to stab, protect, Nest is absolutely necessary, and then I have Thunderbolt here just because I think it would be a good thing to use. Like I was considering running a Flash Cannon, a Side Shock, something like that. But I figured Thunderbolt was a good option just because I had the terrain, and sometimes when Kyogres would switch in on Xerneas trying to revenge kill it, I would able to have the electric terrain up along with screens and take a hit from Kyogre, even if it was Scarf Timid or Scarf Modest, and then Thunderbolted back and do some heavy damage to it. So it actually worked out in certain areas. Like overall with the tournament, guys, and the regionals that I went to, is Portland regionals, by the way. I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but it was pretty fun. It was a fun experience. It was a lot of things to do, a lot of things to learn. Like I haven't been to a VGC tournament in ever, so it was a really big learning experience, and it was really awesome to be around Pokemon fans. That many Pokemon fans, I believe, just in the Masters division that I was in, it was about 113 players. So it was pretty interesting. Pretty decent turnout considering that the attendance level has been low for these, so not too bad, not too shabby at all. So yeah, that's pretty much the team, guys. Just wanted to give you a quick breakdown analysis for anybody that was interested in what I used. So yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all, and if you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to let you know when new videos are up. And give this video one big old like if you can, because it really does help me out. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace, friends.